Subscribe to the Cigars and Sea Stories newsletter. When you do, you are immediately eligible to share for the Cigars and Sea Stories giveaway. Every month we are giving away exclusive Cigars and Sea Stories gear, as well as gear and materials and items and books and gadgets and gizmos from all of our sponsors, guests, collaborators, whoever is engaging during that month's giveaway. So sign up right now at cigarsandseastories.com.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep
on this episode of Cigars and Sea Stories, Bennett and Mike are sitting down talking about correct hold and Kentucky windage in iron sights, and how if you don't know how to shoot with iron sights, you are like the bootest boot ever.
You are a bootity boot.
You're a boot for life if you don't know how to shoot with your iron sights. I'll put it to you that way. But they didn't teach us how in boot camp. I don't give a shit.
Do they teach you how in the boot camp still?
Nope, and that's why you're going to be outraged.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am fucking serious as a heart
right
attack.
Now with embarrassment.
And it's not like it happened overnight. It's not like, oh yeah, all of a sudden we're going to do this. I saw it coming when I was in Quantico because all the lieutenants were being issued RCOs coming straight out. That's it.
Oh, no. How do they not do that?
You don't even need to qualify with iron sights. How? Why?
How did not do that?
Why?
I was not aware of this heresy.
And your argument isn't invalid. I don't give a fuck what rank you are. Hello, Commandant, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit who the fuck you are. I don't care if you're a gunner with 40 years experience in the Marine Corps. Not shooting iron sights is fucking stupid. If you don't know how to shoot with iron sights, you're a fucking boot. Done. All your machine guns are in iron sights. What are you gonna do? Put a fucking RCO on your goddamn machine guns? And they're like, yeah, we are. Wait, what? Yeah, they came out with the newfangled RCO for the SAW, and now the M27, which is a damn good rifle, is being fielded across the Marine Corps, specifically in the infantry, which makes sense. It's replacing the SAW. It's because it has a higher rate of fire, it's more accurate, and it doesn't jam in the open bolt. Like a guy doesn't need to get in the prone and then, make condition 1 with it.
Yeah,
You can just walk around like another fucking rifleman.
Yeah.
Right? But let me tell you what. Not training Marines in how to shoot iron sights is a bad fucking idea. A really bad idea. A really, really, really bad idea. That's stupid.
Not even as a backup. You know what I mean?
Then I'm sorry, it's just every other platform that exists that's out there has iron sights. And then when you go to pick up any other gun, you're going to be like, what do I do? You stupid fucking boot. Like, if you pick up a PKM, you're not going to know what to do.
Did they not even teach them the theory of, they have to teach them to shoot with iron sights?
I don't know.
Maybe they don't qualify, but maybe they have to teach them how. Because if your sight goes down and you rip it off, the iron sights are still there. You still have to know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
So
and the RCO will break. I've had gunners tell me the RCO is not going to break. Bullshit. I've broken 2 RCOs myself. I know for a fact that they will break. You're full of shit. If you're a gunner, chief warrant officer, believes that an RCO is not going to break, you didn't serve in combat. Plain and simple. I don't know how the fuck you became who the fuck you are, but you do not know what you're talking about. I've broken 2 RCOs myself. You want to know what breaks first? The frame on it. It's not the actual optic. It's how it attaches to your Picatinny rail. That's the fucking problem. Right. Dude, you got to remember I'm an 0933, 0931, and I welcome everybody else out of that community to please, by all means, send your comments, your replies. But I wanted to talk about correct hold because we were talking about correct hold in Kentucky windage. Well, good. The Marine Corps says you've got to shoot by RCO now. There you go, you fucking boot. You're going to learn how to shoot only the RCO. Here is your hunting optic, ranged in yards, placed on top of a battlefield-tested rifle that, again, you're shooting in yards. This thing's ranged in meters, rather, and you're going to go out onto a Marine Corps range that is the 200, 300, 500 yard line. So your math's going to be fucked up. And where a lot of us stand is it's basically like cheating. It's actually, in a lot of ways, it's easier to fuck up with the RCO than it is with iron sights.
But who's the brainiac that thought of that?
Oh, dude. I stood tall in front of a gunner consortium along with all of the other CMTs who hated this idea and said, this is fucking terrible. So it was.
Yeah, but like,
I believe,
why are you gonna accept delivery of a piece of equipment or not have? I mean, you're the goddamn Marine Corps, right?
Right.
You can have whatever you want made for you.
Right.
So why would you have an optic that's ranged in meters? I mean, I understand that to an extent, but then, but everything that we did was ranged in yards, right?
Right.
So I don't know, bro.
I don't know either.
The Marine Corps is kind of fucked up with that then.
Well, and that, like, I
Corps.
have no idea why. And fuck tradition and all of that other stuff. Shooting iron sights applies to the modern battlefield. That's it. Any other combat scenario, it applies. Dude, if you go to pick up any other weapon that's out there, you're not going to know how to handle it.
Why do we still even use yards? What the fuck is wrong with us?
That's a marksmanship tradition. That's why our ranges are...
I don't give a fuck. I mean, the battlefield is done in meters.
I mean, it is.
Train as you fight. Train as you fucking fight.
Right. You're not going to hear me.
And you know what? I have to give it. I'm going to do it right now. Sacrilege, right on Cigars and Sea Stories. The Army has it right with that shit.
Well,
they do everything in meters.
They
do everything in meters
for you. What?
They do everything in meters.
Oh, yeah. Don't lie. You just sit there on 1 yard line and a little automated target goes out on its own mobile carriage.
Well, it just pops
like
up.
Miramar.
It's not mobile. It's they pop up. They're Crazy Ivan targets that pop up, and you have to shoot them at various distances. It's actually kind of a cool range. I still like. I mean, they don't do the range. I still love the Marine Corps range, but I think they need to change that shit to meters. Just saying.
It's. I mean, it's whatever. Every American gun is
everything else, but that's the other thing. Why the fuck is a society? Why us in like Papua New Guinea are the only ones that use whatever weird ass measurement system we use?
That's
miles.
The factoid for the end of the episode.
Yeah. So
there you go, folks. See, you got to stay tuned all the way to the end of the episode. You didn't know those were there. Yeah, man. He's clicking away on that. Look, here's the thing, though, because I had to teach this shit, and I swear to God, man, every day you would hear somebody go like, "Oh, you mean Kentucky Windage?" Like, hold on, don't make me kill you. Well, because Kentucky Windage means you essentially shot a spoiler. You tried to conduct correct hold on the first shot. You fired. The shot missed. Now you're using Kentucky Windage to fire the second shot. So that's
semantics. I'm not going to get you all fired up. Never mind.
I mean, that's what it boils down to. So when you look at all of the marksmanship material now, that's doctrine as well as his data books.
But only like 5
else.
People other than you know that in the world.
What are you talking about?
Everyone else just calls it Kentucky Windage.
Now modern Marines will know that. Yeah, the difference between them, I don't know. The first shot's correct hold, the second shot's Kentucky Windage. That's all that I'm saying. That's literally how the Marine Corps is taught to shoot right now.
Oh my God.
Thank you. Yeah. Now you understand my angst. You're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, you got guys walking around going, we'll get it on Kentucky Windage. Like, first shot's correct hold. That's 1 shot, 1 kill. Right? Kentucky Windage, did it get him? You know, it's just... Right. Pisses me off.
It's a little
I want
weird.
to fucking shoot the enemy in the face. I do not want any of this correct, you know, and everybody else is like, it doesn't fucking matter. The battlefield's so short now. You know, you're not at distance with targets. That's the other thing. It's basically 100 and in. Again, I disagree. I mean, there are a lot of scenarios to where fighting in shorter ranges, don't get me wrong. Not being able to qualify with a variety of assorted arms, including with iron sights, is a bad idea. Specifically for manipulation of the firearm as far as the sights are concerned. You do one elevation, 1 windage, and that's essentially it. And then everything else is correct hold. If people don't know what we're talking about, they're boots.
Look, I mean, bro, again, I'm gonna put it out there. The Army even qualifies with iron sights.
Yeah,
you have to qualify with both. Maybe not anymore, but when I was in still, you had to do with you had to qualify. You had to 0 and then qualify with iron sights, right? Out to 300 meters, only 300, so they're not, you know, but 300 meters, and then you had to put your I can't remember what it was. M68 maybe was the nomenclature. Shit, I don't remember. But it was a freaking optic, right?
Yeah.
And it was pretty good too.
Probably a Starlight scope.
No, it wasn't a fucking Starlight scope. Although I have used those, just saying, like actually used them. But beyond, it wasn't on a. It was on a. There you go. You ready? An M60 machine gun. I like that shit. But anyway, so and then you put the optic on, zeroed with that, and then qualified with that as well. So you had to do both.
Yeah.
Really, Marine Corps? I'm hoping that they at least have to zero with the fucking iron sights. You know what I mean? Like, at least have your weapon ready for combat. Like, if the optic breaks off, then you can fucking...
I know.
You know what I mean? They have to do some kind of familiarization.
I know that they do not.
Oh, no.
Okay? They're treating that as the iron sight.
Come on.
I'm serious, dude. They didn't even learn that shit in boot camp. They wouldn't even know what to do with it if they put it on their rifle. You're a boot if you do not know how to handle iron sights. You are a fucking boot. Okay? I'm telling you right now. Like, ugh.
But they're also not... I mean, it's not like they can just go, oh, we're going to teach ourselves iron sights.
No, you can't.
That's the Marine Corps. That's fucking core shit. Failing right there. Fucking failure. That's not even your boot.
I'm blaming it on Obama. I have no idea how, but I'm blaming it on that motherfucker.
At the end of the day, you only know what you know. And if you're not taught to shoot with iron sights, you're really not at fault. I mean, Jesus, bro. Oh, what the hell is wrong with how does that even happen?
I do not know.
I want to know when did it start? Do you know?
I mean, while I was in service, because we were training the lieutenants, and then one day they all just showed up with only RCOs.
But what about like the boot camp, like at Marine Corps boot camp?
A couple of years.
Not,
Yeah, man. We got to reach out to the people
over there too.
When did you guys see it? I'm going to reach out. I tell you what, I'm going to get in touch with my buddy OD, who was probably on the range when it happened.
That's unacceptable.
It's troubling times in the kingdom. Yeah, man. But that's the thing, though, is like people are going, okay, so correct hold is, let's say, for instance, you have a wind that's going from left to right. You would set your sights on the left side of the target because the wind is going to affect the bullet at over 250 yards. So that was the biggest factor. The majority of combat engagements are under 250 yards. Wind doesn't affect the bullet. Doesn't matter. You can do point of aim, point of impact. And it's all inside of that little triangle, because at 300 yards is when you start using the tip of the poodle dick, and then it goes down the stadia lines. Everything happens inside of that triangle, inside of a theater of combat, is what they're saying. So you focus on essentially the underside of the red house, the chevron that's at the top. You focus on the underside there, press. You put that thing square on the person's... Typically, it's, across the midline, center mass. But the reason why they do it that way is because, let's say, for instance, you put the reticle directly in somebody's belly button. That includes their elbows. So the average width of a human target is 19 inches. Which, by the way, the average length of mailboxes in my neighborhood is 19 inches. So I've got, range estimations all over the place. It's so fantastic. So, the RCO, what they're saying is, if you put it on the average width of a human target, on typical target engagements, they're not engaging targets that are over 175 yards, or meters, rather. So,
yeah, get that right.
Because wind affects the bullet at 250 yards in a range scenario, but your average shooting engagement is 175 meters. So... Yay!
Jesus.
And people are like, who the hell cares? It's just a little conversion. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's the entire life. So, yeah, dude. Yeah.
So, who is the current RCO made by?
Trijicon.
The ACOG?
Yeah, man.
Is that all it is? Just the ACOG?
Yeah, essentially.
Is it
the rifle combat optic gun sight? The new RCO, I want to call it the RCO-J. I can't remember, though. But it's got a vertical stadia line that comes down and to the right. It allows for spin degradation, bullet spin degradation. Oh, Jesus
Christ. Really?
Well, But
we can't shoot with a fucking iron sight.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is it's ranged out. Like an M27, I want to say the max effective on that is, it's longer than M4, obviously. For an M16, for an M16, I want to say it's like max was 748, max effective 628, something like that. I'm going entirely off memory right now.
Is there any magnification on them?
Yeah, it's a 4x.
It's a 4x, that's what I'm saying. So, oh my God.
Right.
Who talked him into that? That's what it was. It's who's the slick-ass salesman from fucking Trijicon that freaking sold them that shit, that bill of sale. What the fuck, bro?
Well, and I don't necessarily, think that it has to do with that so much as it has to do with, like, okay, what they're saying is that it attaches to the Picatinny. The engagements are closer. If the rifle goes down, if the optic goes down while it's attached in the exact same way that essentially the carrying handle was on top, right, which is where the iron sights go through, if they're attached all in the exact same way, then the idea of an RCO going down doesn't matter. You're just as fucked. If it ripped off your rifle, your iron sights would essentially rip off of your rifle. That was the argument essentially to me, right? But I disagree that the mount that's on the bottom of an RCO is as stable as iron sights being attached by screw-on to the Picatinny, right? So,
yeah.
But there are other guys on the other side of the equation who are like, well, if you know that the engagements are under 175 yards and in, why don't you use some other sight? And so, boiling the argument all the way down, Trigagon created the RCO with the intention of illuminating a reticle inside without having to use batteries.
Right.
And so the whole point, there's an inert gas inside of the fiber optic cable that runs across the top of RCOs that captures light. More often than not, we would put tape and other stuff over top of that fiber optic so that it would reduce the amount of light that was being captured because you're running around the desert.
Yep.
So when you look through the inside, at least through our RCOs, you had a red chevron that was illuminated by collecting light. And then you had that, we called it the poodle dick. It was that little red tip. It looks like an arrow with a red line underneath of it, I guess you could say.
Right.
And that's typically what we BZO'd with. So you'd use the tip of that to fire in. And I am not saying that experience is bad. Like, I didn't mind working with the RCO, having it on my rifle, using it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you need to have the knowledge of how to use iron sights. Because when you go to pick up and deploy any other rifle for any other reason, you're not going to know how to do it. You're just not going to know how to do it. Is it taught in the classroom? Yeah. Is it implied in practical application? No, not unless you go through the school. So the argument being, well, you shouldn't be able to pick up an AK-47 and use it without going to foreign weapons instructor's course anyway. And granted, it's a short list of scenarios in which you would employ a foreign weapon like that on the battlefield. I get it. But it's to have the knowledge to be able to do it, from a practical application standpoint. So
yeah.
We need to get my buddy OD on here because I remember he was the one who told me about it, which just absolutely infuriated me. And I think I want to say he's an 0931 also. I know he's an 0933. I just don't know if he ever went to combat marksmanship trainer's course or like formal school instructor's course and some of those other ones. So,
what site I liked using? It's a reflex site, but the Trigagon RMR.
Oh yeah, the little doctor site. I know what you're talking about. I love
using that fucking thing. That thing's badass.
Yeah, we called it like, I don't know who started calling it, but I still call it the little doctor site.
Yeah, I mean it's not very.
You know
big.
what I'm talking about though?
But you've got to have the one with the it's got little the little red dot.
Yeah,
they've got them in like different mill sizes. And so you've got to have the smallest mill. I think it's like a 2 or a 3 mil dot versus like a 9 mil dot, It's a big deal. I love that sight. We used it we did use the ACOG in the security industry there. But we also used the RMR, and I loved it. I thought it was badass. Especially for like direct action type work and stuff like that. It's just awesome.
Okay, so on the side of the RCO, you can attach one of those little doctor sights.
Yeah, on the side of it, right.
Or on our saws, it goes right on top. So when they go into a CQB environment, they look through that.
Yeah, gotcha.
And one of the sickest setups was an M27. An H&K 416 is what it was prior to, like, I'm telling you right now, I tested the H&K 416. I want to say the nomenclature is the 416. It is the M27 in the Marine Corps. They're not the same rifle. Everybody knows that. One is the government contract. One is the one that you get for civilians. It's just that, plain and simple. Yep. There's going to be differences. But man, that thing with the new RCO on it and a doctor sight on the right side with one of those Magpul the angular stocks.
Yep.
So that you can roll over to the right side of the optic for when you're going through a house doing CQB. Because it's a 20-inch rifle. And I mean, like, they even say in the article that the commandant was saying that, like, tankers and a lot of air traffic fire rescue guys aren't going to get them because it's not compact enough to fit inside of the vehicle with them. At least not comfortably. To which I say fucking bullshit, because I used to carry my I called it the A3 because it was basically an A4 service rifle. I used to put in the Humvee right there next to the e-brake. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like right down on the right hand side, the musket.
Yep. The musket. It's like a fucking crutch.
Right.
It's so long.
But they're great guns.
You could use that thing to fucking, yeah, they are. I agree. So the M27 though, does it have? I mean, if you're going to replace the saw, which at the end of the day is a pretty awesome weapon, right? There are issues with the belt fed shit and part of it, but the thing is that you can put such a high volume of fire down without a magazine change or anything. You know what I mean? Is it really an effective replacement?
Yes, when you employ Patriot mags.
Right.
You know, whatever they want to call them, the 100-round mags.
The 100-round mags, okay. Now, did they get the kinks worked out of those fucking things? Because they used to freaking jam all the time.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
You know, more people came into the game. Because before they were a novelty. That's why we started.
I guess you're right. It's just, you know.
Yeah. I mean, in short, like I've shot them before without any jams. And they're easier to fill. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, depending on how you want to do it. So jamming 100 rounds into a magazine really isn't that hard.
No.
And the other thing, too, that you got to remember is, like, if I'm a saw gunner, I'm just going to get one of those, you know, the fatter, what are they, like they're like 60 round magazines. You know what I'm talking about? Where it comes down out of the magazine well, but then it fattens up. I want to say that it's 60 round magazines.
Well, I know that they do have 100 round mags for them. It was just, I know that they were having issues, right?
Right. Well, it's because they double feed. That's why.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, it messes all up. Yeah. See, I would go with because I used to use the Surefire magazines, and I loved them. I thought Surefire made great magazines, and yeah, they were heavier, but I never had a problem with any obstruct. You know, it's because the way that the follower sits inside of those magazines is just so much better, you know, than the shitty issued ones that you get.
Yeah.
So they've got the, you know, Magpul makes the P mag, you know, the big job, the big ass 30 round, or not 30. What the fuck am I saying? The big ass 100 round. But Surefire makes the 60 round magazines. If I was carrying the M27 in zone, and this is honestly what I thought about doing, no bullshit, prior to deploying to Afghanistan, is just carrying 3 of these across my torso, and then 1 standard 30 round magazine inside your weapon. Why bother going through all of the magazine changes? Just if we get into a firefight to where I have to go for the mag that's on my torso, like, wow, dude, we're in a serious fucking firefight. And that next mag is going to be a 60 rounder so that I can go fucking Hollywood style on your ass. Especially with an M27. Like, oh, ha! That's good. Clack. I mean, dude, I'm serious. The M27 is devastating. The M27 will eat a saw alive. You are fucked if you're carrying the saw and go up against an M27. 10 times out of 10. It's faster, it's lighter, it's more accurate. It is a designated marksman rifle that you can fire with the same rate of fire as your fucking saw. You're dead. Good luck. You can't actually engage with a saw. You can't. Because SOP to engage with a saw is to cock your saw and then engage. So with my M27, I flick the safety off and then shoot you in the face while you're trying to cock your fucking saw. And nobody... If you're walking around in condition 1 with a saw, not only are you damn wrong, but, like, you're waiting to kill one of your buddies. It's not going to be you who dies going on an ND with your saw.
When did you get out?
May 2012.
All right. So, yeah, it's definitely a General Amos fucking thing.
Absolutely.
This fucking thing.
This fucking guy.
This fucking guy. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but that's
what that guy did.
That's the other thing is it's like, okay, so we've got RCO stuff, all of this other bullshit that's happening. Yeah. And then we've got, General Neller, God bless him. And what's happening as far as like under his reign as commandant. It's very interesting holding the night and day difference. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and
and obviously, when like General Dumsford was there, it was different too.
Right. Well, but like, dude, I'm telling you, when I was in Zone and we had Amos and everybody come out for the whole dog and pony show, the way that it happens. And this is 2011 up in Kajaki. They wanted to come out. They wanted to see where we smoked those guys. They wanted to see just like different known areas of the battlefield that they had heard about, blah, blah, blah. RCT-8's commander came through, all of these other different dudes. I mean, it was like, oh, great, who's next? Congressman? Like,
yeah,
we're 32 kilometers away from our closest friendly unit. That's in one direction south. We can't go anywhere else. Everything else is by air. And you're parading it through like you're running for fucking Congress. Like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Well, we're visiting the troops. Like, and I get it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've been visited by a commandant before. It was in Takedum.
I mean, and Amos was also a giant proponent of the F-35B.
Yeah.
Right? Like, basically really pushed Secretary Gates to keep this program because of all the overruns and everything. And he was one of the biggest proponents to keep it. It's still not in service.
Supposedly, they're deploying for the first historic deployment this month. For the first time out to sea with it.
I mean, seriously though. I mean, in theory, it's a good aircraft. Right. But what the fuck, man? I don't
know. Well, anyway. And for posterity's sake, this month is January 13th, 2018. So they're bringing it out. Supposedly. Yeah, but see, that's the other thing too, is that's Amos's background. He was a naval aviator, crossed over into the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his whole bread and butter is aviation.
Kind of a controversial freaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't even qualify as an expert with a rifle. Just saying. He's a sharpshooter, folks. How do you have a commandant that's a sharpshooter?
Don't ask me, man. It's not a point of pride, I'll tell you that much.
I'm just saying.
It's not.
And what the hell did he get his Bronze Star for?
I do not know. Not my chicken to fry. Obama in office and Amos is the commandant? Too sick I am, darling. I'm packing it in the ass and headed out the back gate. This is not fucking happening.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, Penny, why'd you get out of the Marine Corps?
He's an expert pistol shooter.
What's that?
Oh, man. But he's an expert pistol shooter.
Oh, of course he is.
Fucking air winger.
That's exactly.
I mean, I love you, air winger Marines. I love you.
But you can only shoot the pistol.
Which is fine. It's all fine and dandy. Shoot shit from the air. That's great. But you I mean, Christ. That's why. Because he couldn't shoot with iron sights.
Exactly. Thank you.
I just figured it out. He couldn't shoot with iron sights. So he's like, find me a way to fucking shoot expert before I
Everybody
retire.
Gets a scope.
And he still couldn't do it.
If I can't shoot with iron sights, then no one does. It's proven.
That's it. It's got to be it. That really, honestly, was probably the reason. Because you literally threw out 200 plus years of Marine Corps history.
Yep.
Dude, like I said, the Army still uses them.
Everybody does. Everybody around the globe uses iron sights. If you don't know how to use them, you're a boot.
You have to figure out a way to put both on. You've got to at least have backup sights, man. What the fuck?
Oh, I agree.
I
think for common sense knowledge,
and there's probably tons of people yelling. There's probably tons of people yelling at us while they're listening to this, but
I hope so. I hope they comment. I hope they comment in the section below. By the way, I'm done uploading pictures to Libsyn. You guys can come check them out at the website. That's a pain in the ass. I've been doing it for years and I'm done. You guys can go to the website, check out all of our fancy pictures. You know what I mean?
I do. So let me give you the factoid of the day.
Yes, please.
Which is the fact that the United States, all right, so everyone knows there's the metric system and then there's what we do, right? And you can call it whatever you want. There's about 1 million different names for it. You've got the imperial system. You've got customary, standard, English. It's all the same names too, right? For the system that we use. So, because goes back to post 1824 reforms of measures used throughout the British Empire, right?
Right.
And why they came up with those, I have no fucking clue.
No idea.
But we are only one of 3 countries that uses the imperial system, one of which is Liberia, which is the country was completely constructed by the United States of America anyway. So that makes complete sense. And the other one is Myanmar.
Huh.
Or Burma, whatever one you want to call it.
I didn't know that.
Right? Yeah.
I knew about Liberia. I didn't know Burma.
Yeah. I didn't either. I mean, I knew there was some other weird country, but that's, I thought it was like something. And that's why I said Papua New Guinea because of Liberia. But anyway, even though they're nothing alike.
Nope.
But then Myanmar, that kind of threw me for a loop. I figured it'd be like Thailand or somebody like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so it's close to Thailand. But so yeah, one of only 3 countries that uses it. And I'm gonna tell you, folks, the metric system's better.
Well,
better. It is.
I'll tell you what. We'll go metric, but those Brit fucks got to start driving on the right side of the road.
Right.
We got a deal here? You know?
I don't even give a shit.
24-hour clock. That's a whole other conversation.
It's named after the British damn system, and the Brits don't even use it.
Right.
So what the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know.
So the whole military knows the metric system because we use it, at least measurement-wise, not necessarily like, the other shit, but it's so much easier to teach your children.
Right.
I mean, where the fuck did a mile, 5,200 is it 48 feet? Something like that. 5,240 something odd feet. What? Like what standard did that come off of? You know what I mean? 12 inch foot. Everything in the metric system's done by tens. So
right.
It's amazing.
They
so
make
much
it
easier.
Super simple.
So, I mean, a kilometer and like a mile is 0.6. A kilometer is 0.64 miles. Like what? Like how did I just don't, it's bizarre. It's like a bushel. What the fuck is a bushel?
I don't know. What is a bushel?
A bushel. And I'm not going to look it up. I know that's how they measure grains and stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And it's something like 64 pounds or something like that and again, there we go with pounds again instead of kilograms or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. I'm not saying our way is, it's just different than the rest of the world. And they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, we're different than the rest of the world.
Right.
But whatever, man. But that's your factoid of the day. We're one of only 3, and they're not even glorious countries. So we're the only one that's glorious.
Right. I mean, Liberia is pretty cool, though. I'm going to go check that out. Why not?
Come on.
Why not? Why don't you want to go check out Liberia? Huh?
Because maybe I already have.
You don't want salmonella?
Maybe I've already been to Liberia.
Maybe you have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can neither confirm
can
nor
remember a core mission to the Liberia. Just saying.
No, thank you. All right, man. Well, thank you for giving us the factoid of the day. And folks, for those of you who have stuck around to the end, thank you so much. And continue to share, subscribe, rate, review the podcast. You know how that goes. And thank you to our collaborative sponsors. Of course, Spartan Media, Heroes Media Group, McPherson Marketing Group. We've got veteranslist.us. There are plenty of other folks who are helping us out as far as team members, civilian, veteran. It's awesome. We're growing. Thank you. You guys rock. And if you don't know how to shoot iron sights, you are a fucking boot. And on that note, we cue the music.
I will flag on front to every breeze, from dawn to setting.